Oh, hi. Hello. How you doing? My name is Waldo, and I am here to feel the politics with you. I have, let's see, today's Wednesday, so I have a couple of links. Only have like two things to talk about tonight. We're going to watch a few, well, maybe more than a few minutes of Donald Trump's latest press conference. It's rambling insanity. I didn't catch all of it. I caught some of it. I didn't catch all of it, but it is top grade insanity. It is ridiculous and awful and exactly what I would expect from him. Then we're going to bring up Google Maps and we are going to discuss the plan, the invasion plans that he is going to put together for Canada and Mexico. What's going to happen? I'm going to guess wildly at the future. I'm going to predict, irresponsibly predict what's going to happen. And I hope you're here to also irresponsibly predict what's going to happen with me. It'll be fun. It'll be a good time. In the meantime, the first thing I have to do is get my drama hat ready. So we discussed this last stream when I did some drama. I'm very much against doing drama. I don't like drama, but we did it. And now I am drama hat creating a, hi Valor, thanks for coming. I'm creating a drama hat. So where is the image file for this? I saved it in with all the rest of my files. I think I named it Supreme Hat. There we go. Okay. So can you guys see that on screen? I think you can. You should be able to. Let me look at my Twitch thing. Yeah, a drama hat. Yeah. This is my drama hat. So it's too big. It's a little too big, but maybe can I twist it? Can I twist it? I bet I can twist it. There we go. Now I'm cooking. This is my drama hat. So in the future, if I am ever going to discuss drama again, I probably won't. We may never see this hat again. This may be the only time I've ever used it, and I'm not even doing it properly. But last week I was discussing the drama with TYT and stuff like that. So I needed a drama hat. Right. Supreme hats must be sideways, cocked, crooked, like it's mandatory. And so if I do need to bring out the drama hat, I will bring out the drama hat. It's here, it's ready, it is prepared and ready to go. But I can't really test it until I'm on stream and stuff like that. So thanks for being here. Thanks for helping me test it out. Yeah, what happened to TYT besides being bought? Well, that was the drama, is that they went and they got bought. Anna moved to the right, and Cenk is kind of going with her, possibly because he really wants to, possibly because he wants to make more money, or possibly because he wants to drag some of the audience from the right to the left. I think he will fail miserably, and he will have nothing to show for it other than being nice to people on the right, which is a dumb idea because then they will think they are correct. They're not. So that was the entire drama. That was the whole video. And that was most of what I did on the last stream. And it needed a drama hat. And I'm sorry that I didn't have one because I'm going to use, because I have the anime hat whenever we need, whenever I need the drama, the anime. Wait, no, let's click on the anime. Where's the anime? There you go. So there's the anime hair whenever I need it. It's there. It's important. Anytime I need the anime hair. Whenever I need the conservative blind spot, it is available as well. Conservative, whenever I'm talking about something that a conservative can't see, we bring up the blind spot, we point it out, we talk about how they can't see these things. And we're 8 days into January, which means it's still Christmas. It's still Christmas time until February 1st. I am an American. Just in case you're not American, you need to know that Christmas lasts from the day after Halloween until February 1st. Okay. That's Christmas time. Okay. All of November, all of December, all of January, 3 whole months for Christmas. That's the rule. And that's why I still have my little gnome buddy back here. He is a Christmas gnome, and he will be gone on February 1st and not a minute before, because I'm an American, damn it. And now we are set and we're ready. And the stream just gets better every week. It just gets better. Yeah, exactly. Like you don't even have to watch and know what they've done. Yeah, I wouldn't suggest starting now. I can't buttons honestly. Okay, so that is all the fun stuff out of the way. Let's get into the less fun stuff, like listening to Donald Trump talk. So he did a press conference recently. It's the first big one he's done since he won. And so we're going to listen to it. I'm going to put him on 1.25 speed so he goes a little bit quicker. Quacker, Christ. So he goes a little bit quicker. I mixed up quicker and faster there and said quacker. But he does take questions towards the end. And I do want to hear what he says to those questions because they're, reporters. Oh no, they're on to me. I'm a crazy person. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. It is the plan still remains to get the costume so that I can go to Emerald City Comic Con as Harry Dubois from Disco Elysium, and I'll just shave just right here, just the bottom, and I'll leave the mustache and then the side bits and then the chops so that I can go and I'll dress up like him. I'll find some clothes that look like him. And then I'll carry around a white plastic bag to put all my swag in as I buy stuff from the places. Because that's what I would do at the Comic-Cons. I wouldn't go to meet celebrities. That's not my jam. I wouldn't stand it. I know I do have a real friend who would like stand in line for hours to meet these celebrities. And I'm like, hey, I don't care. What am I going to do? I'm going to get up there and be like, hi, I saw you in the thing. Sure did like it. That's what I would do. Biggest celebrity I could think of or something like that. I'd stand in line for an hour and then I'd be like, hi, I'm Waldo. I saw you on the thing. It was really cool. Okay. Bye. I like that thing you were in. Cool. I wouldn't know what else to do if it were like an actual like celebrity. I'd be like, okay, yeah. Do you read any good books lately? Like, what do you? I'm almost done with The Sunlit Man, and I'm gonna start on the latest Brandon Sanderson thing. That's it. I would just try and be friends with them, I guess, and then they would be weirded out that I would be friends with them and try to become like their best friend. Then that would be it. And then I would go away and I'd be like, man, that took like 2 hours to get through the line. Anywho, we're going to avoid that by just buying stuff that looks cool and then hanging it on the wall or putting it up on the thing back here that you, as the viewer, cannot see. I have lots of stuff back here. I have like Ness from Earthbound and Mega Man. And I'll just put some more cool stuff up here that you'll never get to see. But it'll make me feel good. That's what I do with those Comic-Cons. Well, I would just like hang out with them. I think, what's his name? Nathan Fillion is really cool. I've seen him on the TV. I've seen him on the Instagram where he photobombs people. That's very funny. Like, I'd hang out with him, but I don't think I would want to stand in line for 2 hours and then shake his hand and say, I sure did like Firefly. Okay, cool. Pleasure to meet you. And then that would be it. Like, even if I wasn't starstruck, I assume that I wouldn't be, but even if I was, that's kind of how it would go. I would default back to my plain Jane normal personality, which is like, hi, yeah, that's cool. Uh-huh. Ah, yeah, okay, bye. I just wouldn't do anything. Paul Giamatti is a powerhouse actor. Yeah, okay, so great. I waited in line for 2 hours to see Paul Giamatti, and then I'd be like, hey, I'd ask him something real stupid. Be like, did you really have a good time playing Santa Claus that one time? That was weird, right? Like, did you like intend to play Santa Claus in that really weird, disturbing Fred Claus movie? Like, and then when you did, like, the implications of that movie are insane. The fact that everybody's immortal, like after 3 or 4 generations, you'd have thousands of immortals living at the North Pole, and then he would cart me off. It would be insane because I'd be a crazy person. Right, but Santa Claus was immortal, and so was his parents, and his brother, and his brother's wife, and Santa Claus's wife. What about their kids? Do their kids get to be immortal? Okay, Fred Claus is literally immortal. Like, does that apply to his kids? What if it doesn't? What if Fred Claus lives for 1,000 years, having another kid every few centuries, only to watch them die of old age? It's disturbing. And that's what I would ask Paul Giamatti about. Uh, and that's why they would have to drag me away. I'd be like, answer me, coward. And it wouldn't go over well. So it's best that I just avoid all these situations entirely, stick to what I'm good at, go there, dressed silly, with my plastic bag, buy some swag, put it on the shelf where you can't see it. I'll show it to you when I get back. And I'll do at least one stream with the shaved chin and bushy side beards and stuff like that. I'll do at least some of that. And that'll be the whole thing. I'm sorry for Vince's comedy. Yeah, I agree. I laughed too. I laughed at it until I found out that they were all immortal, and then it started to gnaw at me. Like, oh, how many of them are immortal? What happens? So, okay. With all of the preamble out of the way, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming in. Let's look at the news. Who is in the news today? Oh yeah, it's that Trump guy again. Window capture. Click the button. There it is. There he is. Cool guy that he is. Yeah, we did get a little bogged down, but that's the fun of the live streams, right? Is we get to get bogged down, and then we can just go back to being bogged down anytime we want. I think it's fun because I actually got quite a few views on the last live stream for some reason, and probably because it had the word the letters TYT in it. And so I got quite a few views, which is nice and exciting for me. Usually the live streams don't get much views on YouTube because they're saved on YouTube. You can go back and watch them anytime you want. They just don't get very many views. And that's the fun of the live stream is you get to see the opening, you get to see the exciting stuff, you get to talk to chat. Sometimes you see a puppy dog. He is not here right now. No puppy dogs at the moment. And that's why the live streams are just slightly more fun. You get to do all the fun stuff. And when I make the YouTube videos, I chop out all of this stuff. This won't make it into a YouTube video. And because it wouldn't make any sense. The YouTube algorithm would hate it because you're talking about Paul Giamatti, Santa Claus, immortality, Disco Elysium, and Emerald City Comic Con. Then you talk about Trump. It's all over the road. It made sense to us, but it wouldn't make sense to the YouTube algorithm, which means they won't show it, which means nobody will watch the views, and then I'll be sad. And Billy Crystal. See? And now we're off track again. I appreciate how cool and fun live streaming is, that you can just go off track anytime you want. And that's why I think it's more fun than just making videos. That's why I don't just make the videos. I have a script right in front of me of what I'm going to say tonight, but I wouldn't have a good time just saying it into a screen and then cutting out the bits and then turning it into a YouTube video. That wouldn't be fun. That would not be fun. I wouldn't have all of this. Anywho, let's look at the news. Who's that? Oh yeah, that's Donald Trump. Let's listen to what he has to say.
President Biden's actions yesterday on offshore drilling, banning offshore drilling, will not stand. I will reverse it immediately. It'll be done immediately. And we will drill, baby, drill. And we're going to be drilling.
He can't reverse it immediately. It would have to go through Congress. Congress can reverse it immediately, but they're probably not going to.
In a lot of other locations, and the energy costs are going to come way down. They'll be brought down to a very low level, and that's going to bring everything else down. That's what caused it to go up, along with the ridiculous spending on the Green New scam.
No,
all this money, trillions of.
The Green New Deal never got passed. He blames it like it's a thing. I'm going to try not to pause every time he says something fucking wrong.
It's like throwing
we'll be here all year.
What they're doing. And they're trying to spend so much now. They're just taking money and giving it to anybody that wants it for any project at all.
None of that is true.
If it's certified under the Green New Scam.
The Green New Deal didn't pass.
And it's too expensive. And, they told me that we're going to do everything possible to make this transition to the new administration very smooth. It's not smooth.
You're right, Daniel. He is looking older and more tired. But that's only going to make it easier to go around him, honestly. 10 past 11. Yeah, it's the Greenland New Deal. We'll discuss that as soon as we're done with this. We'll watch and we'll bring up Google Maps and we'll all play Armchair Generals and figure out where he's going to invade and all that fun stuff together.
Because they're doing that. They're playing with the courts, as you know. They've been playing with the courts for 4 years, probably got me more votes because I got the highest number of votes ever gotten by a Republican, by far, actually, by a lot.
You're true. You're right, Valor. I do that for Biden as well.
Work, but even to this day, they're playing with the courts. They're friendly judges that like to try and make everybody happy on the Democrat side. It's called lawfare. It's called weaponization of justice, and it's happened at a level nobody's ever seen before. So
nonsense. None of that's true.
I defeated deranged Jack
Doesn't
Smith.
matter.
He's a deranged
You did not
individual.
defeat
I guess
Jack
he's on his way
Smith.
back to The Hague, and we won those cases. Those
You
were
did
the
not
biggest
win.
ones. And
The Supreme Court changed the law and changed the rules so that they couldn't come after you. You did not win.
the press made such a big deal out of them, but we did nothing wrong. We did nothing wrong on anything.
You
And
committed
people
many
saw that.
crimes.
You know, when they vote when a Republican, it's not easy for a Republican. When the Republican wins the popular
So
vote by
terrible
millions
being a Republican.
and wins all 7 of the swing states, people said, well, he could win 4. We won all 7, and we won them by a lot. That tells you we won.
1.5%.
Watching this
That's not a lot.
injustice. I call it the Injustice Department. What they've done is so bad. The whole world has watched that. And it took work, but it got me a lot of votes because when explained, I mean, we have a judge in New York who's a very crooked judge.
No, he's not.
I'm under a gag order. I
None
can't
of
even
this
talk
is
about
true.
aspects of the case that are the most vital aspects. I'm under a gag. Do you know that I'm the president-elect of the United States of America? I'm a former, very successful president. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We had borders that were sealed and beautiful. We had everything was
Nonsense.
good. We had
None
no
of that's
wars.
true.
We defeated ISIS.
No, you didn't.
We had no wars. Now I'm going into a world that's burning with Russia and Ukraine, with Israel. You took a look at that attack on October 7th, the attack on Israel, with the horrible way they got out. Not the fact that they got out. I would have been out before them, but we would have been out of Afghanistan.
You were
with
in
dignity and
charge
strength as opposed
for
to
4 years of
looking
Afghanistan.
like a bunch of fools with 13
didn't
dead
get
and
us
many,
out.
many badly, horrifically injured. Nobody ever talks about them. No arms, no legs. Nobody ever talks about them.
The news talked
way
about
they
them all the
got out
time.
was outrageous, leaving billions of dollars of brand new military equipment that I bought in the hands of the Afghans and specifically the Taliban. It's the group. And we were doing very well. We would have been out. We would have been respected. I think it's one of the reasons it was so badly handled, that withdrawal where people are jumping onto airplanes, falling off the sides of airplanes when they're 3,000 feet in the air. And nobody's ever seen anything like that, the worst.
Would have been
because of that,
exactly
I
the
think
same
Russia
if
went
he had
and
pulled us out.
attacked Ukraine. When they saw that, they said, these guys are incompetent. They don't know what they're doing. But we know what we're doing now.
Russia does that all the time.
And that's going to all end.
It's like their whole
we have a great military.
deal.
I defeated ISIS. As you know, we're in no wars. I just finished a couple. And we got also our soldiers.
We were in no wars. I
guarding,
finished a couple.
Syria and
So you were in a
Turkey
war.
in the middle. We had 5,000 soldiers. They would have been gobbled up with 2 armies. We had one army, 300,000. We had another one, 500,000 or 600,000, getting ready. We had 5,000 people in the middle. I said to a general, how do 5,000 people do in that case? And the general just looked at me and said, not well, sir, not well. And I took them out. And you know what happened? Nothing. I got criticized. I saved 5,000 lives, actually. And
I don't believe any of that ever happened.
we did a great job, and we're going to do an even better job because now we have a tremendous amount of experience. We have people that I can rely on. But the 625 million acres, people can't realize, it's like the whole ocean. Take an acre. You know, an acre. You have a house on a
625
half an acre or
million
a quarter of
acres.
an acre or an acre.
It's
If
the
you
whole
have
ocean.
An acre, you have a big deal. Now you multiply that by 625 million acres. It's like, feels like the whole ocean. And
The whole ocean.
That's our strength, you know. People can say we
10 past 11, I
manufacture, we
sped
don't
him up so that
manufacture.
we
The
can
thing
get through
have,
this
we have
faster.
Oil and gas more than anybody in the world. And we're going to have more of it, too. But they took away 625 million acres of offshore drilling.
So yeah, Joe Biden passed did an executive order that said these are the areas. It's a very large area of the ocean that you can't do any drilling, and it can't be overturned by another executive order, which means he's going to have to get Congress to overturn that, and they won't, or they might. And if which case they do, that's fine. Then that's the law, and he's allowed to drill. But he can't just go in there and say, "Okay, it's open now." He can't. It's against the law for him to do that, which means Congress is going to have to do it. And this very much upsets him because he thinks that if we just burn more fossil fuel, the price of everything else will go down. but it doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. An ocean of acres, in fact. Trump's pretty funny, so out of pocket most of the time. Yeah, I know. And that's why it's sometimes fun to watch him, but there's a reason that he is the way he is, and the people in charge that are letting him do this. He's going to say some crazy things, and there's a reason behind it. If you know what the reason is, I've probably said it 1,000 times before, but we'll discuss that at the end of tonight's stream. The actual true reason for him to be this big old clown.
Nobody else does that. And they think they have it, but we'll put it back. I'm going to put it back on day one. I'm going to have it revoked on day one. We'll go immediately if we need to. I don't think we should have to go to the courts, but if we do have to go to the courts, they try to be sneaky. They go in and they say, remember, this is a man that said he wants the transition to be smooth. Well, you don't do the kind of things. You don't have a judge working real hard to try and embarrass you. Because I did nothing wrong. By the way, I did absolutely nothing wrong.
You committed
If I did something wrong, I wouldn't be standing here right now because I've won all these cases.
You didn't win any cases,
Nobody's ever
man.
won so many cases.
They didn't go to
against
court.
The Justice Department. I mean, Jack Smith had cases all over the place. People were being subpoenaed, lives
He
were
had
being
two.
ruined. They were spending everything they had, money. We were helping them out. We had to.
He found
They were
evidence and
subpoenaing
followed
people
it.
that had no idea what they were even talking about. That's a sick group of people. And it was all to influence the election. It was all a fight against a political
it's because
opponent.
you
We've never
break
had
the
that in this
law.
country. We have had that in certain countries. We've had that in third-tier countries. We've had that in banana republics, but we've never had that in a place like the United States. I don't even know if it's been on a small level. I'm sure it has been on a small level.
America's an
but
orange
this was
republic
the largest
now.
level ever. They brought this moron out of The Hague. He's a mean guy. He's a mean, nasty guy. His picture was perfect because you look at his picture, you say, that's a bad guy with his robe, his purple robe. And
That's
he
a
executes
bad
people.
guy.
He shouldn't be allowed to execute people because he'll execute everybody. He's a nut job. But we won all of those
One of
cases
the
with him.
most prestigious fucking legal minds in the history of our goddamn
we had a
planet.
brilliant judge in Florida that saw right through it. And we won the case. She was a brilliant judge with great courage. The left, as we call them, the radical left, they have a way, they play the ref, and they play it very hard. They play the ref.
By playing
they
the
say
victim?
horrible things about judges and prosecutors. And some
he's
judges and
crying
prosecutors say
about
that
how
the only way I'm gonna
victimized
get
he
these people
is.
off my back is to give victory to them. They're playing the ref. I think it's illegal what they do. It's almost like talking. It's worse than talking to a judge. But the judge in Florida, Judge Cannon, was brilliant and tough, and she didn't stand for it. And I don't know her.
You don't know her.
Never met her until the case, and I don't believe I said
Appointed her, and she's
one word
kissing
to
your
her.
ass every day so she
But
can
was
become the
very,
Supreme
very
Court
strong,
choice.
Very, very brilliant, and her opinion
He
was
knows
so
her
brilliant
name.
that they dropped their appeal. They couldn't beat the appeal. So that's
The
what we're
Supreme
up
Court
against.
changed
So
the
they say
law
we're gonna have a
to
smooth
allow you to
transition.
break the
All they do is talk.
rules.
It's all talk. Everything they do is talk. We're going to have a smooth transition, and then they take 625 million acres and they essentially landmark it so you can't ever drill there again. Well, we're going to be drilling soon. We're going to be opening up Anwar. We're going to be doing all sorts of things. That,
Burning fossil fuel left and right. It'll
nobody
be
ever
great.
thought was even possible.
Won't it be fantastic?
Remember when
More smog,
just
more
to get off the subject, 'cause
poison,
I couldn't believe it when I heard
more
it yesterday. I couldn't believe
global
the size
warming.
of it. I mean, you put down a map and put this up. It's just massive. And remember that that's worth probably, I mean, I've had estimates, $40 to $50 trillion. That's more than our national debt. Essentially, he's thrown it away. He's thrown it away. He's taken $50 trillion. So if we owe $35 trillion, he's taken $50 trillion of value and thrown it right out the window. We can't do that. Nobody can do that. One other thing he did yesterday, which was in many ways worse, it's hard to believe it can be worse. He wants all gas heaters out of your homes and apartments. He wants them to be replaced by essentially electric heaters. I don't know what it is with electric. This guy loves electric. We're going to be ending the electric car mandate quickly, by the way. This guy loves electric. And we don't have enough electricity. And then we have AI where we need more. And he wants everybody to have an electric heater instead of a gas heater. Gas heater is much less expensive. The heat is much better. It's a much better heat. As the expression goes, you don't itch. Does anybody have a heater where you go and you're scratching? And that's what they want you to have. They don't want you to have gas where you don't have the problems of the electric. And the source is plentiful.
Heaters
They're
make
much
people
cheaper
itch?
to operate. They're much better.
Dude, this
they work
is
much
news to
better.
me.
They
This
look much
is-
better. 60% of homes
he
and
doesn't
apartments have gas
understand.
heaters. He wants them all removed quickly.
Because
These
they're
people are
bad for the
crazy.
environment.
There's something
They're
wrong with them.
burning
There's something wrong with
carbon,
them. They also want to
releasing
go
it
back,
into the
and
atmosphere.
they have already started
Bad
that,
for us.
to when you buy a faucet, no water comes out because they want to preserve. Even in areas that
Faucets,
have so much
Christ,
water, you don't know
faucets
what to do.
again.
It's called rain. Comes down from heaven. And
That's
they
not where
wanna
rain
do,
comes from.
No water comes out of the shower. It goes drip, drip, drip. So what happens? You're in the shower 10 times as long, No water comes out of the faucet. You want to wash your hands. They want to go back to even stronger than what they have right now. As you know, I ended that
Solving
policy.
the problems
You can have all the water
that the
you
real
want.
Americans
Makes
have.
no
Here
difference.
he
It
is,
comes-
folks.
Especially in certain areas, we have so much
Solving
water.
all your
We don't know what to do
actual
with it.
problems.
But these are all things they want.
Genocide happening
very,
in
very little
Israel,
water
but we
go
got to
into your
talk here
dishwasher,
today
almost none.
about
And
the
you know what people
faucets.
do? They just keep pressing, keep it going. They end up using more water. Likewise, washing machines. They want in your washing machine to have very little water coming out of the washing machine. So when you wash your clothing, you have to wash it 4 times instead of once. You end up using more
Very
water.
little water coming out of the washing machine.
We're a party of common sense, and things that I'm telling you
Common
now
sense is a
really
feeling.
all about common sense. On January 20th, we'll turn the economy around very quickly, because right now when I think of our economy, I think about inflation. That's what we have. We have inflation.
They're coming
I
for your
believe,
water, folks.
at a level that we never had before. There's never been anything
They're
like
going to shut off your sink.
And over the next 4 years, the United States is going to take off like a rocket ship. But really, it's already doing it. If you take a look, just last month, SoftBank announced the $200 billion. I think it'll be 200. He said between 100, and I said, how about making it 200? And he sort of said yes, but let's say it's 100, but it might be 200, right, Brian?
What the hell is he talking about?
United States creating more than 100,000 jobs. Hussein just announced tremendous investment.
We're just going to create 100,000
That's
jobs,
money that's in the
200,000
bank.
jobs.
He's gonna come and do
Why
it.
not
He'll do a great job.
300,000
He'll
jobs?
build
Screw
the
it.
best centers in the
Fucking
country,
million
again, because
jobs.
I know
Let's
the way
just,
he builds.
if we're making up
Since my
numbers, you might as well
election,
make up
the
a
stock
good
market
one.
has set records. The S&P 500 index has broken above 6,000 points for the first time ever, never even close. In a single month, small business optimism soared 41 points. It's not a 41. It went up 41 points. And that's the largest in the
Right,
39-year
because it's going to be good for them.
The group that does it.
It's going to be good for the economy because they're all going to steal. You see, they're not going to be bothered by all these laws and regulations and things that they have to give to the consumer. God, no. They're all going to create junk fees. They're all going to jack up their prices. They're all going to skyrocket the bullshit games they play on the stock market to make imaginary numbers go up and lines go up so that they can all make more money. And everybody's going to suffer. And the price of everything is going to go up.
According to Gallup, the American people's confidence in the economy has just surged to the highest level in history.
We're already at 20 minutes. So
That's why I have a news conference like that. I take the greatest
last
business
10 or
leaders in
something
the
like
world.
that
I
is
say, hey, do you
something.
want to say you're going to invest the money?
That's why I put them at
conferences. They
1.25
say,
speed.
What am I doing? They go in and they invest money, but it's good to know where
I'm
the
trying not to
smartest
pause
business
too
people
much.
in the world are investing, and they're investing in the United States. So we've done this all in 2 months of not being there. We haven't been there. And it's pretty amazing, and we think we're going to do some really great things, really great things. We're being respected again all over the world. The Panama Canal is a disgrace, what took place at the Panama Canal. Jimmy Carter gave it to them for $1, and they were supposed to treat us well. I thought it was a terrible thing to do. It was the most expensive structure
The
ever
Panama
built
Canal.
in the history of our country, relatively. It would be the equivalent of substantially over $1 trillion today.
He wants
We
to
lost
steal it.
38,000 people. Think of it, 38,000 people, they died from malaria.
They weren't
mosquitoes.
Americans.
They were unable to stop
They
the
were
mosquitoes. They paid
underpaid
people 5 times more to take the
slaves.
job. Many of those people died.
And
We gave it
they were
away for
down there in
$1.
Central America.
But the deal was that,
$1.
they have to treat us fairly. They don't treat us fairly. They charge more for our ships than they charge for ships of other countries. They charge more for our Navy than they charge for navies
I
of
suspect
other
that this is a
countries.
lie.
They laugh
I mean,
at
just
us
because
they
of
think
who
we're
is telling
stupid.
it to me, I
But we're not
suspect that
stupid
it is not
anymore.
true.
So the Panama Canal is under discussion with them right now. They violated every
Sad,
aspect
just
of
gave
the
it away.
agreement, and they morally violated it also.
Oh, they morally violated.
Every
I'm backing
aspect
up
of
for
the
that.
agreement, and they morally violated it also. And they want our help because it's
Moral crimes are now
leaking
crimes, apparently.
and not in good repair. And they want us to give $3 billion to help fix it. I said, well, why don't you get the money from China? Because China's basically taken it over. China's at both ends of the Panama Canal. China's running the Panama Canal. And they come to see this Biden, this guy who should never have been allowed even to run for president. Of course, he shouldn't have either, because that never happened. It had to be 2 people, not 1. But they want $3 billion to fix the Panama Canal that's run by China and makes a lot of money, China. One of the most profitable structures ever built, because you have ships lined up back to Florida, frankly, and they just keep going through, and the numbers are staggering, $500,000 to $1 million a ship. And they took it away from us, meaning we gave it to them for $1. But not going to happen. What they've done to us, they've overcharged our ships, overcharged our Navy. And then when they need repair money, they come to the United States to put it up. We get nothing.
You're right, 10 past 11. It is
Those days are
29
over.
cents. It's even worse
Working
that he's
with the
making it out
Republican
to me.
majorities in Congress will cut taxes,
And what did Jimmy Carter do
slash
with that dollar?
regulations, raise wages, and boost incomes at a pace the world
Gave
has not
it
seen
to
before,
a welfare
and
queen.
certainly not from our country.
Sad.
We had a big chunk of it for the first 3 years of prior to COVID coming in my administration. We had the greatest economy in history. We cut the most regulations in the history of our country, and I did that all in 4 years. By 4 times more than any other president cut.
That's a
We did
bad
that in 4
thing,
years.
you fucking moron.
And we were just getting started.
Every cut
We'll
and
impose new
regulation
tariffs
is
so
paid
that
for
the
in
products on our
blood.
stores will once again be stamped with those beautiful words, made in the USA. And we are not treated well, as you know, by Canada. Canada is subsidized
Here's the
to the tune
Canada.
of
Here we go.
about $200 billion a year, plus other things.
Hi,
They don't
Bisky.
essentially have a military. They have a very
We're
small military.
watching something
they
crazy.
rely on our military.
Thanks for coming.
It's all fine, but, you know, they got to pay for that. It's very unfair. I have so many great friends. One of them is the great one.
We're going to
Wayne
discuss
Gretzky. I said, run for
the
prime minister, you'll
war
win in a,
with Canada
it'll
here in
take
just a
2
few
seconds.
minutes.
But
As soon as this is over.
he said, well, am I going to run for prime minister or governor? You tell me. I said, I don't know. Let's make it governor. I like it better. But no, something's going to have to be done. Same thing with Mexico. We have a massive deficit with Mexico.
And a war with Mexico.
And we help
Coming.
Mexico a lot. They're essentially run by the cartels. And can't let that happen. Mexico's really in trouble, a lot of trouble. Very
No,
dangerous
they're in
place.
trouble. What kind of trouble?
We're going to be announcing at a future date pretty soon. We're going to change because we do most of the work there, and it's ours. We're going to be changing sort of the opposite of Biden, where he's closing everything up, essentially getting rid of $50 to $60 trillion worth of assets. We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
The Gulf of America.
Which is a beautiful
Fuck you,
ring that covers
Mexico.
a lot
Fuck
of
you,
territory. The Gulf of America.
Mexico.
What a beautiful name.
It's so
And
stupid.
it's appropriate.
He's so
appropriate.
fucking dumb.
And Mexico has to stop allowing millions of people to pour into our country. They can stop them. And we're going to put very serious tariffs on Mexico and Canada, because Canada, they come through Canada too, and the drugs that are coming through are at record numbers. So we're going to make up for that by putting tariffs on Mexico and Canada.
You don't put tariffs
Substantial
on
tariffs.
Mexico. You don't put tariffs on other countries.
And we want to get along with everybody, but you know,
They don't pay it.
It takes 2 to tango.
It doesn't make any sense. He doesn't know
We're
how tariffs
approaching
work.
the
He
dawn of
still
America's golden age. It's
doesn't
going to be a golden age
know
for America. We have
how
things that nobody else
tariffs
has.
work.
We have
He
more
still
natural
doesn't know.
resources. We have number one. Nobody knew that until I came along. I made us number one. We were number 3. I made us number one in a very short period of time in drilling. And
That's
you know,
not
you
a
can talk
good
about
thing.
windmills.
We're gonna
They litter
die.
our country. They're littered all over our country, like dropping paper, like dropping garbage in a field. And that's what happens to them, because in a period of time, they turn to garbage. Most expensive energy ever. They only work if you get subsidy. The only people that want them are the people that are getting rich off windmills, getting massive subsidies from the U.S. government.
Massive
And it's the most
subsidies for
expensive energy there is.
windmills.
It's many, many times more expensive than clean natural gas.
The evil, sneaky theft that is windmills. Windmills are how people are becoming rich. You remember the giant windmill company, Exxon? Wait, shit, no. Is that where Exxon makes the most money? Isn't Exxon the most profitable company to ever exist within human history, I think? And they sell windmills, right? They sell and create windmills, right? No? It's not what they do? Interesting. I'm starting to think this Trump guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Bisky. Oh, Jesus. Hang on. Pause for a sec, guys. Bisky. Did you come in here a few months ago and then you and I wrote some romantic fan fiction about Barron Trump? Was that you? That was a good stream. I enjoyed that. Was that you? Yes, I remember you. That was great. It was a good stream. I'll find the date. I'll go back. I was looking for it one day and I couldn't remember the date because I was going to turn it into a YouTube video, but I couldn't remember what day it was. But yeah, I'll dig through the archives. And yeah, Bisky and I wrote together. We kind of storyboarded out and did the outline for a romantic comedy fan fiction about Barron Trump, and it was a good time. I had a great time. Yeah. It was kind of a Romeo and Juliet kind of a thing. Some of it was it got a little sweaty. It got a little spicy, but that's how good romance novels are. Uh, okay, I'll continue on with the news. Let's keep going. We're halfway through. Let's keep going. When you're in hell, you got to keep going.
So we're going to try and have a policy where no windmills are being built. You know, off the coast of New Jersey, they want to build like 200 windmills. The people are going crazy. Nobody wants them, and they're very expensive. They don't work without subsidy. You don't want energy that needs subsidy. Energy is a good business.
Energy
You
that
don't need
needs subsidy, like
But when you build
oil
these massive
and drilling.
towers, 25 stories
The
tall,
most
40
subsidy
stories,
our
they want
government
70
gives is to the
stories
oil
tall.
companies.
The blades, they take 3 ships to
Jesus
ship 'em.
Christ, this guy's an idiot.
It's crazy. They're dangerous. You see what's happening up in the Massachusetts area with the whales, where they had 2 whales wash ashore in, I think, a 17-year period, and now they had 14 this season. The windmills are driving the whales crazy, obviously. And they had actually over, I think, 125 or something over a number of years, and we don't want that to happen. It's a disaster. It's amazing the way a true environmentalist would say, oh, we love wind. It sounds good, but that's about where it ends. You know, after 10 years, you have to redo them. And what happens is they don't do that. They let them stand and they rust, and they say, because of the environment, I'm not a believer in this, but they say you can't, because it's a certain fiberglass, that the blades cannot be buried in earth, that's an environment. So what do you do with them? What do you do with them? And I don't know if you've ever gone to Palm Springs, California, or any of these places we have.
I suspect that everything he's saying is wrong.
They're a disaster.
I
They're
don't,
rusting,
I
rotting,
don't have the
closed,
time to look up
falling
literally
down.
every lie he
This
tells.
is as you enter Palm Springs.
He knocks out 4 lies in a single
They put new ones next
sentence.
to them because nobody wants to take them down, because why
It's
should they take
impossible
them
to
down?
keep up.
It's very expensive to take them down, and you can't do anything with them because the blades, you can't bury them because of the environmental protection. We'll look at that. Doesn't make sense, but that's what they say. So we are at the beginning of a great
10 past 11, you're
beautiful
right.
golden age
Let's
of business.
figure out the
And
whale
I think
mental
we're also
health
at a golden
crisis.
age of common sense, because everything I'm saying to you, from a simple water faucet that doesn't allow water to come out appropriately, to all of the other elements of what we do.
You
and
shut
what
your
we're going
liberal
to do.
mouth, Shinsinto. Whales
to take
dying because of
50 to 60
global
trillion
warming?
dollars off our
No.
country's
It's
balance
the
sheet
windmills driving
because
them
some man
crazy.
that has no idea what he's doing. He has no idea. You know it. I know it. The Democrats know it. What they did is a crime by allowing that to happen.
What
and
did
I'll
they
bet
do
you
that
if
was a
you
crime?
asked him today,
Says the convicted
how
felon.
much acreage did you submit? Essentially, did you destroy? You destroyed the economic
You
viability
did not
of
destroy them.
drilling in the ocean. And with AI coming along and all, you know, a lot of people don't realize that AI is going to be a big thing, but you'll need double the electricity at least that we have right now. So right now we
That's a
produce
good reason
electricity from
to
many different things.
abandon AI
AI is a very
immediately.
big
100%
deal
drop
in terms
it.
of the future. China is already building electric.
We're going to have global warming. We're going to have so much ecological disaster. And we're going to have to burn down entire square acres of the Amazon just so that one guy can make an AI where a shark drinks a Coca-Cola. How is that a good idea? How is that the plan? Jeff, Facebook, really? Right. Facebook had that fake black queer woman, right? And they got in trouble for it. They spend ungodly amounts of electricity to create fake people so that they can have them pretend to be human beings on Facebook. And then they can trick the investors and tell them that this is a great thing and it's awesome and it's the future, so that the investors can then have these fake people write fake reviews for the investors' products. That's why they do that. They need the AI to create fake people that seem real on Facebook so that that can go to the Amazon comment section and talk about how much they love this product. They love this product. It's great. Me and my 7 kids all love this product, but it's a fake person. And then you can just have hundreds and thousands of fake people giving you great reviews if you pay for it. I could then pay to have lots more chatters. If you are a paid robot chatter, please tell me. I need to know. Well, we can debate about it. Good call, Bisky. This is a simple of my idea, and you liked it. Oh, God. I called the election in the fanfic. Yes, you did. So, yeah, there are follow bots and stuff like that, sure. But why is it so important? Why are they pushing it? Why is it being lauded as the future? Why does Donald Trump think this is the future? Because the people like Zuck have told him that's the future. And the people like Zuck have said it's the future because they are tired of you and your bullshit. They don't need you gumming up Facebook with your ideas and your words and your unhappiness and your gripes and your complaints and then your reports of other people being bitches to you on Facebook. They don't need any of that. They will replace everyone on Facebook with AI people, then sell those AI people to other companies so that they can seem like they have a following. It's inhuman. It's insane. 10 past 11 is a robot. See, I knew it. You see, they have to tell you the truth. That's the thing. If I say, are you an AI? You have to say yes. It's like being a cop. You got this very easier. Yeah, it's true. I am the robot. Beep, beep, boop. See, I knew it. I'm on to you, robots. I am on to you, robots.
Facilities, big,
can't fool me.
Bold electric facilities. And you know how they're being fired up? With coal.
That's disgusting.
And we're going to build
that's terrible.
Bigger and better ones. People like Hussein that are...
Donnie, listen, you can't drive your stagecoach into the future, okay? You can't expect coal to drive us into the 22nd century. Doesn't make any damn sense. We're going to run out at some point, too.
Doing the same thing as he is. I bet they
burning fucking rocks
don't do it as well,
that you dig up out of the dirt.
But they're doing a lot of
There's
things.
the future.
They can't get their permits because I say build the plant with the building. So with the structure, build the plant, because if you're going to grids are old. So they said, that's a great idea. In other words, build your electric facility alongside of your plant. And you could have extra output if you want, because once you build it, you can make it larger pretty inexpensively. You could have extra output, which you'll sell to the public, but build it with the plant, and people are loving that idea. So we're going to have a lot of fun making America great again, and it's going to happen, I think, very, very quickly. It's already happened.
Black lung would be up on the rise. Smog going to make a comeback.
There's never been anything like what's happened in the list since we won the election.
Using coal
couple of months
to
since we won the election,
fuel your AI generative cartoon maker
people
is
from other
amazing.
countries have
I
called
do
me, they
love
said,
that
"Thank
idea.
you.
I really
Thank
love
you."
it.
The perception of the whole world is different. We're going to have to settle some big problems that are going on right now. We're going to have to settle up with Russia,
problems.
Ukraine. That's a disaster. I look at numbers every week, the number of people being killed in that war. People don't know, mostly soldiers now.
Oh my
But
God.
the towns have been
Did you know that
obliterated.
soldiers
This was
were
a
dying in the war?
fiasco that he got as, that should have never happened. If we had a real president, if we had a president that knew what he was doing, Russia would have never, ever gone in. But they did go in, and we have a mess. The cities are all blown up. The people have largely left. And the soldiers are killing each other at levels that haven't been seen since the Second World War.
Amazing.
So we'll have to get that
He's
one
a
straightened out,
genius,
too. That's a
guys.
tough
He
one.
really
Much
is.
tougher than it would have been
fucking soldiers
before
killing
it
each
started,
other.
I can tell you that. A deal could have been made just by an average deal maker. Deal could have been made on that.
Deal maker.
So thank you all for coming. We'll take a couple of questions. Yeah.
All right, here's what I really wanted to get into.
Go ahead, please.
Questions.
I wanted to touch on the world on fire that you mentioned, but let's start, if we could, with your references to Greenland and the Panama Canal.
Greenland.
So forth.
Here we go.
Can you assure the world that as you try to get control of these areas, you are not going to use military or economic coercion?
No.
And can you tell us a little bit about what your plan is? Are you going to negotiate a new treaty? Are you going to ask the Canadians to hold a vote? What is the strategy?
Yeah, I can't assure you, you're talking about Panama and Greenland. No, I can't assure you on either of those two. But I can say this, we need them for economic security. The Panama Canal was built for our military. I'm not going to commit to that.
No, it wasn't built for the
It
military.
might be that you'll have to do something. Look, the Panama Canal is vital to our country. It's being operated by China. China.
I don't believe it. I really don't.
To Panama. We didn't give it to China. And they've abused it. They've abused that gift. It should have never been made, by the way. Giving the Panama Canal is why Jimmy Carter lost the election, in my opinion, more so maybe than the hostages. The hostages were a big deal. But if you remember, and nobody wants to talk about the Panama Canal now because, you know, it's inappropriate, I guess. But
how is it inappropriate?
It's a bad part of the Carter legacy. But he was a good man. Look, he was a good man. I knew him a little bit, and he was a very fine person. But that was a big mistake. Giving the Panama Canal to Panama was a very big mistake. We lost 38,000 people. It cost us the equivalent of $1 trillion, maybe more than that. Probably the most expensive. They say it was the most expensive structure, if we call it a structure, which I guess you can, ever built.
Yeah, it's a structure.
And giving that away was a horrible thing. And I believe that's
it
why
was
Jimmy
their
Carter lost
territory.
the election, even more so
he
than
didn't think that we
Those
should
two
own
things.
the damn thing if it's in somebody else's country.
And Iran, the two negotiations, you'll be heading into. On Ukraine, you said just before it's a lot more complicated now.
Much more complicated.
Do you believe?
Because it
How
would
is
have
it
never
more
started.
complicated?
But it has started. You've
Well,
got-
not only started, the cities are largely knocked down.
So
By
you've got-
Russia.
you've got-
Are you going to
at this
be
point,
mad at them for that?
To hold on to leverage in dealing with President Putin,
No.
would you make a commitment to the Ukrainians that you will keep supporting them during the negotiations?
Well, I wouldn't tell you
And
if
would
that were the
would
case.
you make a commitment to provide a security guarantee if they do enter into a
He won't
armistice
tell
or a
the
ceasefire
reporter that he's going
along
to
the lines
support
of
our
the
ally.
French
No,
and
you can't tell
So,
anybody that.
You know, a big part of the problem was
Because he's not
Russia
gonna.
for many, many years, long before Putin said you could never have NATO involved with Ukraine. Now, they've said that. That's been like written in stone.
No, it wasn't
And
written in stone.
Somewhere along
You're
the
making
line,
that up.
Biden said, no, they should be able to join NATO. Well,
No, he didn't.
Russia has somebody right on their doorstep.
None of
that
this
doesn't
happened.
understand their feeling about that.
None of this
But
happened.
there were a lot of mistakes made in that negotiation. And when I heard
Negotiation?
the way that Biden was negotiating, I said, you're going to
There
end up in a
was no
war. And it
negotiation.
turned out to be a very bad war. And it could escalate. That war could escalate to be much worse than it is right now.
They can never join NATO.
Well, my view is that it was always understood. In fact, I believe that they
Always
had a deal,
understood. No, the fuck
and then
it wasn't.
Biden broke it. They had a deal, which
Biden
would have been a
didn't break
satisfactory
any
deal to Ukraine and
deals.
everybody else.
He's just
But
making
then
things
Biden
up.
said, no, you have to be able to join NATO. And that's always been, and nobody knows more about NATO than I. You know, years ago, when I first
You don't even know what NATO is or what it does. He's so dumb. He doesn't even know what these things are.
started this, I didn't know too much about NATO, but I got it right anyway. I said,
Got
they're
it
taking
right.
advantage. I'm the one that got, and the Secretary General was here, as you know, 2 weeks ago, saying that if it weren't for me, NATO wouldn't even exist right now, because I raised from countries that weren't paying their bills. At that time, 28 countries, 20 of them were not paying their bills, 21 to be exact. They weren't
Paying their bills.
or they were paying a very small portion. And I raised
There are no bills. It's just an agreement. If you enter into NATO, which is simply a military alliance, that you promise you will spend 2% of your GDP building your own defenses. That's it. You don't pay that money to America. You don't pay that money to NATO. You don't pay that money anywhere. You just do your own books. You do your own taxes. You find out how much GDP you have and spend 2% of it. Were some of them not doing that? Yes. But it's not like that was a bill they weren't paying to America. That's not what that is. He misunderstands, he creates a delusion, and then he spreads fear. Every single issue. Misunderstand, delusion, fear. In that order, every time, every issue, because he doesn't understand anything. None of this is real. None of this happened.
raised over $680 billion. That was the number he gave, by saying, if you don't pay, we're not going to protect you. And as soon as I said that, the money came pouring in. But Obama could have said it. Other people could have said it. Bush could have said it. Nobody said it but me. I took a lot of heat. They said, oh, that's a threatening statement. Well, they weren't paying their bills. I said, we're not going to protect you if you're not paying the bills.
Sure is a nice country you
So,
got there. Be
in a
ashamed
true
if something
sense, I
happened to
saved
it.
NATO, but NATO's taken advantage of us. And one of the problems that I have, and I've said it openly, I said it to President Zelensky, Europe is in for a tiny fraction of the money that we're in. Now, whether you like that situation or not, Europe is much more affected than the United States. We have a thing called the ocean in between us, right?
The ocean.
Why are we in for
Where is it? Second ocean
billions
reference.
and billions of dollars more money
It's
than
all
Europe?
about the ocean tonight.
And you know, they're a similar size, a little smaller, but they're a similar size economy as the United States when you add them up. And yet Europe is in for a small fraction of the number the United States is in. Now, Biden could have called them up during the term. That's what I did. I said, you have to pay your bills. And they all, one stood up. I won't say who, you'll probably have it, because the papers, the media hated to report on it. But
None of this happened.
Prime
He's
Minister
making up a story
from
right now.
country, you know, a famous meeting of
He's
28
making this up.
nations with no press, no anybody in the room.
This
He
didn't
stood up and
happen.
says, does that mean if we don't pay our bill, and at that point it was 2%, it should be 5%. It should be 5%, not 2%. But at that point it was 2%, but many people didn't pay. Some people didn't pay anything. But many people were way, including Germany. Germany was at less than 1%.
None
Well,
of this
I think
happened.
NATO should have 5%.
He's
yeah.
talking about a guy who
Well, you
stood up
can't
and
do
asked him a
at
question.
two.
It didn't happen.
2%. Every country, if you're going to have a country in a regular military, you're at
Remember that time he was in a room with talking to all of the other prime ministers in NATO, and there was no press and there was no reporters around, and they were all locked in a secret little room where nobody else knew it was happening? Remember when that happened? No, because it didn't. He's making things up.
4%. I think they should be, you know, they're in dangerous territory. I think it should be, they can all afford it, but they should be at 5%, not 2%. I'm the one that got them to pay 2%. But a gentleman stood up, a prime minister stood up, and he said to me, sir, could I ask you a question? You're saying we have to pay our bills. If we don't pay our bills, will the United States protect us from Russia? I said, if you don't pay, you mean you're delinquent? He said, yes. He said, if you're delinquent, we will not protect you. I took a lot of heat.
Sure would be, that
Although it
sure
was
is a
somewhat
nice country you
closed door,
got there.
I took a lot of heat from the
Be a
media.
shame if something happened
And
to
you
it.
know what happened? The money started pouring in.
None of this happened.
That's why NATO has
Money-
money. And the secretary.
Money started pouring. NATO doesn't collect the money. They just want you to use some of yours to update your own defenses. That way, if you get attacked, you're not completely defenseless. He has no idea how these things work.
Secretary General said it was the most incredible thing he had ever seen in a negotiation. Now, if I would have said, yes, we will, nobody would have paid. If I would have loved to have said, yes, we'll protect you even if you don't pay. But that's not the way life works.
Mr. President, two questions related to each other. First, you said on your first day of office you were going to pardon January 6th defendants. Are you planning to pardon those who were charged with violent offenses?
Well, we're looking at it, and we have other people in there. And as you see, I guess 24 or 28 people came now from the FBI. That came out very quietly. Nobody reported it, but they had people in some form related to the FBI. They had 4 or 5 people that were strongly related to the FBI. We have to find out about that. We have to find out about Hezbollah. We have to find out about who exactly was in that whole thing, because people that did some bad things were not prosecuted. You know, I see it all the time, and you see it too. People that were doing some bad things weren't prosecuted, and people that didn't even walk into the building are in jail right now. So we'll be looking at the whole thing, but I'll be making major pardons. Yes, please. Please.
On Jack Smith's report.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. It's good to see you again. 2 questions about Syria and the ongoing war in Gaza. About Syria, the Pentagon disclosed last month the U.S. has some 2,000 troops in Syria. That's almost double the number initially we were told of 900. Will you keep that troop capacity the same upon taking
Well, I
office?
won't tell you that because that's part of a military strategy, but I will say it was Turkey. Turkey's been after that country in different names and different forms and shapes for 2,000 years. Those people that went in are from Turkey. And President Erdogan is a friend of mine. He's a guy I like, respect. I think he respects me also. He's the one that didn't go after certain people after I requested that he not. You know who I'm talking about, the Kurds. I don't know how long that's going to because they're natural enemies. They hate
Natural
each other.
enemies. They hate each other.
But he didn't do that yet, and he didn't do it in the past also. He started, and I said, please don't do that, and he didn't do it. So, but if you...
I asked him, please don't do that, and he didn't do it. See? This is the deal maker, guys. This is the deals. These are the deals he's talking about. He asked them to please don't murder a bunch of people, and then they didn't murder a bunch of people. 100 Armand just cheered. You made Joe Biden happy. Thanks. Good job. So yeah, we're going to watch this, and then we're going to look at the map here in just a few minutes. If you're just jumping in, we're going to look at the map. We're going to plan out the invasion strategy. So come on in. Oops, wrong button. Bisky, yeah. Lisan al-Gaib. That's Baron Trump is Lisan al-Gaib.
You look at what happened with Syria, Russia was weakened, Iran was weakened, and he's a very smart guy. And he sent his people in there through different forms and different names, and they went in and they took over, and that's the way it is.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. You have concerns about HTS taking control of
By the way, I
Syria.
have the envoy here. Is that in the back? Standing
We're
with my
skipping
son,
this part. Okay,
Eric
I saw
C.
this
Woodcoff,
part.
who's just got back from the Middle
This
East, and he's
guy
done a
is a
fantastic
joke.
job.
We're skipping
He's a great deal maker.
ahead
I said, well, we need their...
to here.
More than 140 police officers were injured by rioters on January 6th. Will you pardon anyone who attacked a police officer?
Well, you know, the only one that was killed was a beautiful young lady
Christ
named
almighty.
Ashley Babbitt.
A
She was
literal
killed,
terrorist.
And there was actually
Literal
somebody else that was
terrorist.
killed also.
Ashley
a,
Babbitt,
MAGA person, but
terrorist.
people don't give it.
Some of the there were like a couple of cops that died that day. He doesn't even know that they died. He doesn't care. One terrorist who supports him died, and he's upset about it. Ashley Babbitt, literal terrorist. I'm not sorry to say so. If somebody broke into this window right now, a human being broke into that window and started crawling through it, I could shoot them, and it would be allowed by the law. If someone broke into your house, broke the window, and was crawling in, you could shoot them and it would be allowed. She broke a window and was crawling into the Capitol building, filled with the senators and the House members. Barricaded, the doors were barricaded, and she couldn't get through that, so she went in a window, broke that window, was crawling in, and was shot by a security guard. That's his fucking hero. because he is the bad guy. Ashley Babbitt is a terrorist.
But 100% credibility. I'm going to find out about it. We're going to find out. But Ashley Babbitt was killed. She was shot. She had never been shot. She was shot for no reason whatsoever.
No reason. She
In
was
fact,
breaking
they say
into
that
a
she was trying to
government
hold back
building.
the crowd, and the crowd was made up of a lot of different people. So we'll see. But I will tell you this: the person that was killed was Ashley Babbitt. The other thing is, when they talk, there was never charges of insurrection or anything like that. But if there were, this would be the only insurrection in history where people went in as insurrectionists with not one gun. Okay? And let me tell you, the people that you're talking about have a lot of guns in their home for hunting and for shooting and for entertainment, a lot of good reasons. But there wasn't one gun that they found.
I don't believe
And why
that.
did
I
they
suspect
find
that
the
is a
bomber, the pipe bomber?
lie.
They know who the pipe
There was a
bomber
guy
is.
that was
The FBI knows who
outside
it is.
firing it into the air.
The status
I saw
of
it.
the FBI has gone down so far, and the status of the DOJ, or as I call it, the Department of Justice, it's the Department of Injustice. It's being laughed at all over the world. And hopefully with Pam Bondi and with Kash Patel and with other people that we're putting in, that will all come back. If you do a poll in the FBI, I guarantee I'm at like 90% with the agents of the FBI, but they have hurt that incredible place. Law enforcement, I mean, you think of the FBI, they raided this house. By the way, they could have told me, could I see this? I would have given them, I actually told them, come in anytime you want. You could see anything. They raided the house,
You
and
lied
the case
to them.
was dismissed.
It was
And now
not
I'm in litigation.
dismissed.
I'm suing them
Well,
for doing that.
it was dismissed
And
because
I feel
the
so badly
Supreme
doing it.
Court
I'm the
broke
president of
the
the United
law
States, and I'm
to
suing the
allow
United
you to
States,
break
but
the
I'm suing
law.
them for other things too. The FBI has gone so, its reputation has been so horribly hurt between Comey, who was the worst, and all of the others. What's happened to the FBI is, and we're going to make it great again. We're going to make the FBI great again. We're going to make the Department of Justice fair and strong, but fair
and
again.
strong. My ass.
Because all they did was attack me because I'm their political opponent, and that includes with local judges like Marchand. You ought to find out. Ask him, why do I have a gag order where I'm not allowed to speak? Think of it. I'm the president of the United States.
Because the last time you spoke about this, your fans started doing death threats to the judge.
And I'm
That's
not allowed
why.
to speak. Why? Because if I did speak, people would understand the scam. It's a scam. And we have very dishonest judges, and New York judges are very bad. We had one that valued this house at $18 million because it was good for their case. He actually valued it. That chandelier is worth more than $18 million. He valued this house as
Poor
$18
victim.
million.
His house was
And
only
we have
valued at
another one who
$18
was
million.
so
He's a
nasty,
victim. He's so
horrible,
sad.
such a brute,
So
most
terrible.
vicious,
We're
vile
so mean to
person.
him.
These are New
Everybody's
York
so mean to
judges.
him. Why are
But
they
we've
so
won most of the
mean?
cases, so we're very happy about that. Please.
Your position is clear, but have you directed your staff to take specific actions to draw plans? And can you elaborate again? You didn't rule out military coercion.
Well, we need Greenland for national security purposes.
We need
I've been told that
Greenland
for a long
for national security purposes. What does he mean by that? Does he mean we want to put nukes there? Does he mean we want to put planes and missile deflectors because they would come over from Russia and China? If China or Russia were going to shoot a bomb at us, it wouldn't come across all of Russia, then all across all of Europe, then all across all of the Atlantic Ocean, then across to DC. It would go over the top, over the North Pole. Is that what he thinks is going to happen? He needs like missile defense in Greenland to prevent the Russian and Chinese missiles from going over the North Pole to get him. I don't know. I think I could bear hug Donald Trump really hard. I think I would have to hug him and I would be like, and I would just squeeze him real good. Start up Manifest Destiny again. We will soon, here in just a few minutes. This press conference is almost over, and then we will get on with the armchair generaling. We will set up our armchair generals.
Long time, long before I even ran. I mean, people have been talking about it for a long time. You have approximately 45,000 people there. People really don't even know if Denmark has any legal right to it. But if they do, they should give it up because we need it for national security.
Denmark
That's for
should
the
just
free
give
world.
up Greenland.
I'm talking
Just
about
give it up.
protecting the free world.
Just give it up.
You don't even need binoculars. You look outside, you have China ships all over the place. You have Russian ships all over the place. We're not letting that happen. We're not letting it happen. And if Denmark wants to get to a conclusion, but nobody knows.
Conclusion? They have a conclusion.
The people are going to probably vote for independence or to come into the United States. But if they did do that, then I would tariff Denmark at a very high level.
Tariff Denmark? You don't tariff Denmark? Okay.
No, we're not at that stage, but we have people. I haven't even entered office yet.
Secondly, sir, you Elon Musk has drawn some criticism and a lot of attention for some of his actions and provocative statements about foreign affairs, including in Europe. Your reaction to that, is that appropriate for?
You mean where he likes people that tended to be conservative? I don't know the people. I can say Elon's doing a good job, very smart guy. I don't know the people you're talking about. He was, I know he said some negative things about a couple of people that are running for office, but that's not so unusual. Yes, please.
I wanted to ask you about Ukraine and Putin. How soon do you anticipate going to meet with Putin to discuss the Ukraine situation?
Well, I can't tell you that, but I know that Putin would like to meet. I don't think it's appropriate that I meet until after the 20th, which I hate, because, you know, every day people are being, many, many young people are being killed, soldiers. You know, the land is very flat, and hundreds of thousands of soldiers from each, many hundreds of thousands from each side are dead, and they're laying in fields all over the place. Nobody to even collect. There's landmines all over. It's a disaster. But it's very flat. It's great. It's farmland.
The landmines are coming from the Russian side, but you're going to kiss their ass and let them get away with it. It's flat, and there's just bodies everywhere. I fucking suspect that is not true. I really do. Like,
and it's very, very flat. And the only thing that stops a bullet is the human body. And the human body is stopping a lot of bullets.
Within the
I hope
first
so.
3 to 6
I hope to have.
I took psychic damage from that one.
No, I would think.
The only thing that stops a bullet is the human body. They will just continue to travel for eternity. If you fire a bullet, everyone knows this. This is just common sense that if you fire a bullet, it will continue moving for eternity until it hits a human being. It'll go through the walls, it'll go through stone, it'll go through the dirt, and it will circumnavigate the entire globe, the entire planet. Because of gravity, okay, the gravity is very important, all right? It will circumnavigate the entire globe until it hits you in the back of the head because you fired it, right? And it didn't hit anyone. The only thing that can stop a bullet is a human body, and it will just continue to move forward through walls, through houses, through structures until it gets back to you and hits you in the back. This is why guns are dangerous, okay? Oh, I took psychic damage from that one, you guys. I really did.
I hope long before 6 months. Look, Russia's losing a lot of young people, and so is Ukraine. And it should have never been started. That's a war that should have never happened. I guarantee you, if I were president, that war would have never happened.
That's stupid.
Who would you like to nominate to replace Michael Barr as vice chair of the military?
I'll be announcing someplace.
If we were to work under the assumption that you're serious about making Canada the 51st state of the United States, the
Canada, here we go.
Conservative Party in Canada said, under no circumstances will it ever be the 51st state.
Maybe he won't win, but maybe he will. I don't.
You had suggested.
Listen, I don't care what he says.
Sir Lopez, you said you were considering military force to acquire Panama and Greenland. Are you also considering military force to annex and acquire Canada?
No. Economic force.
No, economic
Because
force.
Canada
You ready,
and the
Bisky?
United States,
Here he comes. He's coming for
That
you.
would really be something.
He's
You get
going
rid
to
of that
tax your
artificially
maple
drawn
syrup.
line, and you take a look at what that looks like. And it would also be much better for national security. Don't forget, we basically protect Canada. But here's the problem with Canada. So many friends up there. I love the Canadian people. They're great. But we're spending hundreds of billions a year to protect it. We're spending hundreds of billions a year to take care of Canada.
He's going to put
We lose,
tariff under
in
Tim
trade
Hortons.
deficits. We're losing massive. We don't need their cars. You know, they make 20% of our cars. We don't need that. I'd rather make them in Detroit. We don't need the cars. We don't need their lumber.
Okay, boss, listen. If we are buying their cars, we do need their cars. We're not buying them for fun. We're not just buying them and dumping them in a river somewhere. We're buying the car. Then someone in America sells it to someone in America who needs a car. We don't need their cars. Then why are we buying them? This trade deficit, he still doesn't know how that's functions. This is a problem he had with the. He had this in 2015. He started talking about these trade deficit. A trade deficit just means that we gave someone money, and they gave us some stuff. That's how it's supposed to work. If we get the stuff, Donnie, listen, We get the stuff. We get the cars. Is he about to bring up milk? Should I let him ramble into milk?
We have massive fields of lumber. We don't need their lumber. We have to unrestrict them because
Why do we buy the lumber if we don't need the lumber? If we're buying the lumber from them, we need the lumber.
stupid people put, restrictions on, but I can do that with an executive order. We don't need anything they have. We don't need their dairy products. We have more than they have.
Dairy products,
We don't
okay,
need
yeah.
anything. So why are we losing $200 billion a year and more to protect Canada?
We're not losing $200 billion. We're spending it on the things that we buy from them. If I spent $60 at Walmart, I didn't lose $60 to Walmart because they gave me $60 worth of stuff.
And I said that to, as
He
I called
still
him,
doesn't
Governor
understand
Trudeau. I
this.
said, listen, what would
He doesn't
happen if
understand
we
it.
didn't subsidize you, if we didn't, because we give them a lot of money.
Subsidize
We
you.
help them. As an example, we're buying icebreakers, and Canada wants to join us in the buying of icebreakers. I said, we don't really want to have a partner in the buying of icebreakers. We don't need a partner. But no right. Nope, no right. Here's what we have. We have a right not to help them with their financial difficulties because we owe $36 trillion too. We're going to start knocking it out pretty fast, but we're going to be able to do it because of energy and other things. But no right. No right. But why are we supporting a country, $200 billion plus a year?
We're buying
Our
the
military is
stuff
at their
they're
disposal,
producing.
all of these other things.
He
It should
doesn't
be a state.
understand.
That's why I told Trudeau when he came down. I said, what would happen if we didn't do it? He said Canada would dissolve. Canada wouldn't be able to.
He didn't say that. This is a made-up story. He's making this up. He didn't ask Trudeau that, and then Trudeau said we would dissolve. He did not say that. You're lying.
Function if we didn't take their 20% of our car market. They send us hundreds of thousands of cars. They make a lot of money with that. They send us a lot of other things that we don't need. We don't need their cars, and we don't need the other products. We don't need their milk. We get a lot of
You
milk.
don't need the milk.
We get a lot of everything, and we don't
Then
need
why are
any
we
of it.
buying it?
So I said to him, well, why are we doing it? He said, I don't really know. He was unable to answer the question.
I don't believe
But
that
I can answer it.
happened.
We're doing it because of habit, and we're doing it because we like our neighbors, and we've been.
We're buying milk on habit. We're spending hundreds of millions of dollars for Canadian bagged milk out of habit. What are we doing with it? It just stores in it comes down across the border, and then we just drive it around in circles for a few hours until it's sour, and then we throw it in a river. Like what? Somebody's selling that product. You absolute fucking maniac.
Good neighbors, but we can't do it forever, and it's a tremendous amount of money. And why should we have a $200 billion deficit and add on to that many, many other things that we give them in terms of subsidy? And I said, that's okay to have if you're a state. But if you're another country, we don't want to have it. We're not going to have it with European Union either. European Union, we have a trade deficit of $350 billion.
Nice, Biscuit. I like it.
They don't take our cars. They don't take our farm product. They don't take anything. And so we're not going to have it with them either.
That doesn't make any
Brian,
sense.
go
That's
ahead.
stupid.
Happy New Year, by the way.
Thank you.
We have some breaking news. You may not be aware of this, but it looks like Canon has blocked the DOJ from releasing the Smiths report until further court proceedings. Get your thoughts on
Wow,
that.
that's a big story.
Yeah.
So if I get it right, the fake witch hunt.
Not
started
fake, not a
by
witch hunt.
The DOJ, having to do with books and records, and Biden had many more, and he wasn't protected by the Presidential Records Act. I was. But all of that fake stuff that took the lives
still
of
broke the
people, I mean,
law.
literally destroyed people. People are destroyed because of what they did.
People are destroyed
But we got to be president.
because they broke the law.
But Biden did it for 40 years. He did it when he was a senator. That was illegal. And they ruled it was illegal. How about that? They said,
No, they didn't.
it's illegal, but he's unfit to stand trial.
He misunderstands every single thing about that story. He misunderstands it. He's about to create a delusion and spread some more fear every time.
So he can stand and be president of the United States, but the prosecutor found that he's unfit for trial. I was going to use that as a major talking point, but I never got to use it because all of a sudden I had a new candidate who was also sort of
Misunderstands,
unfit to stand trial.
create a delusion.
But so
Spread
what
fear.
you're saying is that the judge just blocked the. So Cannon was thrown off the case. They dropped their appeal because he had no case. They dropped all of that.
No, they didn't.
The lawsuits against us. They
No,
lost
they
the
didn't.
lawsuit.
Only after the
So this
Supreme
is,
Court said you're not allowed to sue him.
Doreen Jack Smith. So he dropped the lawsuits. He was told to by the DOJ because they had no lawsuit. They lost
Because the Supreme
in
Court
court
said he's immune.
in front of a very strong and a very brilliant judge. They lost in court, and that pertained to other cases in other courts. So he wanted to do a report just before I take office, probably. So he'll do like a 500-page report.
No, the report is 90 pages, and it was put out because that's what you do before you bring the thing to trial. You print this so that everybody will know your case. You're bringing the case to trial. I read it. It's brilliant.
And it'll be a fake report, just like the investigation was a fake investigation.
And then after he created that report, the Supreme Court said, nah, Donald Trump is allowed to commit crimes. He has immunity. He has presidential immunity. He can just do whatever he wants. And so Jack Smith then redid the report, removed anything that would have been under presidential immunity, and still had 90 pages worth of damning evidence that he presented and would be going to trial if Biden and fucking Garrett, Garnett, what is that guy's name? Anyway, had been a little bit quicker. If they had not been such wieners and scared, they would have brought this stuff up sooner, and it would have gone to trial. Would have taken 4 to 5 weeks. Jack Smith would have presented his case. Donald Trump would have been found guilty for the for organizing and putting together the Jan 6 insurrection. But no, we don't get to live in that timeline because liberals are wieners. They just are. They're wimps. They don't care about doing the right thing. They just want to stand still. Don't be a liberal. Be a leftist. Anyway, let's go on.
And I said, well, wait a minute. This guy was thrown off in disgrace. In disgrace. He's going back to The Hague or wherever they're going to send him.
He wasn't in disgrace. No, none of that happened.
He failed so badly because it was a fake case against
no,
a
it wasn't
political
fake.
opponent. They thought they were going to use this to beat me.
None of this is real.
What you're saying is, I'm just hearing that they're not allowed to issue the report. So if they're not allowed
She stopped it, someone will appeal, and then the report will come out, and we will get it.
to issue the report, that's the way it should be, because he was thrown off the case.
No,
in
he
disgrace.
wasn't thrown
Why
off the
should he be
case.
allowed
It's
to
just
write a
great
fake
that
report?
happened.
It'll only be a fake report. That's great news. Good.
And if I can just follow real quickly, you want to comment, many Americans are angry that we're sending millions of dollars every month to the Taliban. Do you anticipate?
It's not even believable.
They're the government of Afghanistan, jackass, idiot.
Billions of dollars, not millions, billions. We pay billions of dollars to essentially the Taliban, Afghanistan. And that's given by Biden. That's the same man that took away $50 to $60 trillion worth of value from the United States. Think of it. Probably our most valuable
Poor
asset.
baby victim
Took away our most
crying
valuable
again.
asset. This can't be allowed to happen. We are now a nation of common sense. When he
Common
does
sense is
that,
a feeling.
625 million acres, this can't be allowed to happen. Thank you for the information. Most other people probably know
Bisky, we're going to watch Trudeau here in just a few minutes. I appreciate you being here, though. Thank you.
about it, but they wouldn't have told me, right?
On the campaign trail, you vowed to bring down the prices at grocery stores very fast.
Yeah, we will
but
do
then
it
you
fast.
recently told Time Magazine that bringing down prices would be very hard. So what can the American people expect when you get into office?
It's always hard to bring down prices when somebody else has screwed something up like they did, but we'll bring them down. We'll get them down. Energy is going to bring down prices. We're going to have a lot of energy, and energy is what brought it up.
Energy is
and
not
their
going to bring down
spending
prices. That doesn't work.
Is what brought it up, and energy is going to bring it down. We're going to have prices down. I think you're going to see some pretty drastic price reductions. As an example, food, bacon, ham,
Bacon,
apples,
ham.
everything has gone through the roof. It's one of the reasons I won. So as you know, I said it, inflation was one of the reasons I won, but I think the biggest reason I won was the fact that they are allowing prisoners to come into our country. They released their prisoners, their murderers. Thousands of
No
murderers
evidence
are
of this
now
ever
walking
happening.
around the streets
No
of our
evidence
cities
of this happening.
and farmland all over. Murders, people that have killed. Many, 32% have killed more than one person. They released them from their
You
jails,
misunderstood that
their
stat.
prisons, and their mental institutions.
Misunderstood
and insane
all of
asylums
this.
into our country. I believe that's the reason we got such a large
Created a delusion.
Maybe one or two more questions. Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead. You go.
Sir, can you, President Carter is laying a state today in Washington. You had some harsh words for him about the Panama Canal. Is there any disconnect?
I don't want to hear any more about the Panama Canal.
No, I like them. Just
Skipping
leave it in
ahead.
place. No. The papers haven't written that, though. You understand? That deal is like all the other things that these people do. These people either hate our country or they're very stupid. And I don't believe they're stupid because nobody could cheat on elections like they cheat and be stupid. They either hate our country or they're stupid.
When Donald Trump was in charge of the government, when he was president, apparently Joe Biden cheated. When Joe Biden was president, they couldn't cheat. God, he's so stupid.
So remember what I
Doesn't
said. 'Cause
even
nobody
make
wants to report
sense.
it. They were selling the wall for 5 cents on the dollar and trying to resell
What?
it back to us for 200 cents or less, but for 200 cents on the dollar. That's a nice return.
Selling the wall? What is he talking about?
Post on its website.
Maybe I should have skipped ahead, but that's insane. None of that makes any sense. None of that is happening.
Well, I watched their news conference, and I thought it was a very good news conference. I think they've come a long way. Meta, Facebook. I think they've come a long way.
Facebook. We talked about that a
It was
minute
very
ago.
impressive. I watched it on Fox.
Meta and good old Zuck is kissing his ass, doing everything he wants so that they can make more money. Meta and Facebook are moving to Texas, getting rid of all their fact checkers, letting you say whatever you want, way fewer things that'll get you banned on Facebook. You're allowed to spread more misinformation. You're allowed to talk about Nazism. You can do whatever you want on there. You won't get banned, so that he can continue to function in the new fascist country that he lives in. So that's great. I'm glad he gave up.
Fox, I'm not allowed to say that. Say it?
Do you think he's directly responding to the threats that you have made to him in the past?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
He just admitted it.
Say that. Say it?
Do you think he's directly responding to the threats that you have made to him in the past?
Probably. Yeah.
Is he responding, Zuckerberg? Is he, Zuckerberg, responding to the threats you have made to him in the past? Yes, says the president. Yes, says the person making threats to individual businesses. Yes, says the president, who is about to take office and become the goddamn dictator. It's fine. He's just going to make threats and get what he wants. Fantastic. Fascism is here, and I'm going to watch it until the fucking brown shirts kick in my door.
Probably.
The last time you were here, you were asked a question about the U.S. possibly launching a preemptive strike on Iran. You said you wouldn't answer that question.
On who?
Obviously, on Iran.
On Iran?
The U.S. launching a preemptive strike on Iran's nuclear facility.
He's not going to talk about
I
that.
said I don't talk about it. It's a military strategy.
But it is a legitimate question. It's something that,
Well, it's not really, because only a stupid person would answer it. Look, it's a military strategy, and I'm not answering your questions on military strategy. All right, one more. Brian, go ahead. Brian.
Could you give us a preview of what you might be talking to leaders of Congress who expected to come here in the next couple of days? And you've got a very supportive.
Yeah, I don't care about that. Okay. So we got all of that important stuff out of the way. That was awful. And I hated it. Thanks. Donald Trump has threatened Meta and gotten what he wanted. So he's going to threaten everyone else. He's going to threaten all the other companies. We'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. But he is talking about invading other countries. Bisky's here and a Canadian. So we'll talk about the Canadian stuff now. From Canadian, you're from Canada, right? Is that how that works? So here is Justin Trudeau, who I have to agree with Bisky. Dreamy, you know? Let's hear what he has to say.
I intend to resign as party leader, as prime minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process.
Good day.
He has a little bit of a raspy, kind of a whispery voice like mine, right? Or am I imagining that? He does kind of have that he and I think, I'm just guessing, has a similar kind of a voice. So I've seen what Pierre has to say here. See if you can pick up some of the things that he is laying down in this little short snippet.
Canadians desperate to turn the page on this dark chapter in our history might be relieved today that Justin Trudeau is finally leaving. But what has really changed? Every Liberal MP in power today and every potential Liberal leadership contender fighting for the top job helped Justin Trudeau break the country over the last 9 years. All Liberal politicians actively worked to pass into law the job-killing inflationary carbon tax, a tax that Carbon Tax Carney endorsed in his book. All supported a law quadrupling the tax over the next 5 years.
Taxes, carbon taxes.
Trudeau's out-of-control spending, debt, and immigration. All passed Trudeau's housing policies that doubled the cost of homes. All Liberal politicians helped pass catch-and-release bail and house arrest.
Catch and release, where have you heard that before?
Policies that increased violent crime 50%.
Violent crime going up, where have you heard that before?
And hate crime by 250%. So given that Liberal MPs and leadership contenders unanimously supported everything Trudeau has done, why dump him now, right before an election? Have they had a change of heart? Is it because they feel guilty that they doubled housing costs, hiked taxes, unleashed crime, broke immigration, forced a quarter of the population into poverty?
Broke immigration. How many immigrants are there in
Trudeau when he did all
Canada?
Of those things. No,
I'm
their
going to
only
Google it here in
objection
just a
is that
minute.
He is no longer popular enough to win an election and keep them in power. They want to protect their pensions and paycheck by sweeping their hated leader under the rug months before an election to trick you and then do it all over again. Now, while leaderless liberals focus on saving their jobs and fighting each other for power, the country spirals out of control, an out-of-control housing emergency, an out-of-control migrant crisis, an out-of-control $62 billion deficit, not to mention tariff threats from the United States. Oh,
Tariffs.
another NDP liberal carbon tax hike kicks in this April 1st. Everything's out of control, and now the government is out of control. This cannot go on. We need a carbon tax election now to choose between the NDP Liberal costly coalition that taxes your food, punishes your work, doubles
Carbon
your housing
taxes.
costs,
He's so
and unleashes
unhappy
crime
about
and
those.
drugs in your community. Or
Crime and
common
drugs
sense
in your
conservatives
community.
who will
Common
axe the tax,
sense.
build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime. Canadians
Stop
will
the
take back control
crime.
of their lives and their country. Take back control of our border. Take back control of immigration.
Border
Take
and
back control of
immigration, spending
and inflation.
deficits.
Take back control of our streets by locking up criminals, banning drugs, treating addiction, and stopping gun smugglers. We'll cap spending, axe taxes, reward work, build homes, uphold family, stop crime,
Family,
secure borders, rearm our
borders.
forces, restore our freedom, and put Canada first.
Put Canada first. I have bad news for you, Bisky. Canada is going MAGA. They are. The Justin Trudeau has resigned. This is not a surprise to anyone who's been paying attention to Canadian politics. But the number of people who pay attention to Canadian politics is surprisingly low. I have more subscribers than people who pay attention to Canadian politics. In the broadest strokes, he was a liberal. He did liberal things. And as always, in the case, and as always, in politics, anything that goes wrong anywhere in the world ever is the Liberal Party's fault. When the Liberals do something bad, fuck the Liberals. When the Liberals do something good, fuck the Liberals because it's not good enough. When the Conservatives do something bad, fuck the Liberals for letting them get away with it. And when the Conservatives do something good, fuck the Liberals for not doing it themselves. This is the only solid, constant rule that exists within politics. Everything else is debatable, except for this one little rule I just read. Everything else is malleable, can be shaped and bent, but this is the constant rule in politics. Because everybody's mad at Justin Trudeau now. His party is expected to lose the next election, and Conservatives will probably take over. Then we just heard one, and it's blatant and obvious that Canada is going MAGA. He just stole all of Donald Trump's talking points. Donald Trump, when he's done suing Pierre here for copyright infringement, will see this instability as a weakness and then take the initiative to seize the Canadian land. And this will begin the Great Northern War. Let's look at a map. Let's look at a map. Yeah, you get a lot of ads from Pierre. That's terrible. Now we don't have a hot prime minister. I mean, we have a conservative politician. Yuck. Gross. I agree. Let's look at this Google map. So we're gonna start over on the east side. So let me reorient my stuff here so I can see it. Come on, mouse. Why are you making me look stupid, mouse? All right, there we go. So where are we? We are in. Let's make some wild predictions about the war that's going to happen, the war of northern aggression that's about to happen. Let's go nuts. Feel free to hop into chat and tell me all of the crazy things that I'm. You're at Toronto. Oh, that's cool. Tell me how it will go when the war comes to you. These are just my guesstimates. I've never been to Canada, so I don't know. So I'm just going to make some stuff up. In the east, we start with Quebec. This is where the capital is with Ottawa, you know? So here's Ottawa, here's the capital, this is Quebec. Now, these are the most French of all the Canadians. The Quebecois are least likely to actually go MAGA, which is lucky for us because the entire northeastern section of America right now is embroiled in its own tiny civil war, fighting tooth and nail over surge pricing of traffic in New York City. At the moment, they do not have the wherewithal to repel a Canadian incursion. And they're the least likely to get it. So this is going to be the quietest part of Trump's war of northern aggression. So we're going to move to the west a little bit to Ontario. Now, this is probably going to be the hottest part of the war, but ironically the coldest because of lake effect snow. Ontario has the most resources, the most people, the highest GDP in Canada, making it the juiciest target for Trump to invade. This is going to lead to all-out naval warfare. The Great Lakes will run red with blood. Trump will create a Wisconsin and Michigan Navy to go north to claim the land. And I have used actually some AI to show you what it will look like. So here is the Michigan Navy going north to steal land from you, Bisky, from Toronto. Toronto's there, right? Where is Toronto? Let's find it. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Toronto is definitely going down. I'm sorry, Bisky. It's going down. The Michigan, maybe even the New York. You're closer to New York. But yeah, the Michigan militia is going to march in there. And the Michigan Navy right here is going to go north to steal the land. And they will be repelled and fought by the Ontario natives, which you can see here. Let's see. So why would Trump do this? He's going to do this. Why was I don't know, because you're in the north. He's going to use this as a wedge. He's going to try and go right here to create a wedge in between Ottawa and the rest of Canada. This is where all the money is. This is where the timber is. This is where all the best stuff is. So he's going to try and wedge that in there. To split Canada into two. Then we get into the other parts, the Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta. Okay, so this is where the land war will be happening. Tanks, trenches, battle lines surging and receding, and then surging and then receding. All the old-fashioned war shit. But Trump is an old-fashioned guy. He'll need to create heroes for the American people to rally behind. And this is where they will come from. Valiant American men charging into the icy, cold stares of Canucks as shells explode around them. If all goes well and according to plan, our grandchildren will create hundreds of movies and video games about this conflict, forever idolizing the steely masculinity required to take the harsh tundras of Saskatoon. And then let's get to the west side. Okay, so we arrive at the far left coast. See you later, Valor. Thanks for coming in. We'll arrive at the far left coast where things get weird. British Columbia and the people of Vancouver will head south to be greeted as liberators by the people of Seattle, Washington. Despite desperate to avoid Trump's new fascist regime in America, this region will begin to help the Canadians and help them get south to Portland. Once they're in Portland, they will meet up with the Antifa super soldiers, which are naturally spawned there. A new border is drawn down the middle of these two states, where to the west of the central line is now Canada territory. You see, so Bisky, you will get to visit Seattle and Portland as a part of Canada, I suppose. And then the eastern side of Washington, Oregon, where there are very few people, will still be part of America. So then, spurred by this amazing winning streak, the Canadians will continue to push down into California, where a lot of it, and at which time Trump will simply allow them to take it. Trump will abandon California. He hates California. They've been a thorn in his side for years. They're the ones that are complaining the most about his colonialism and the wars and all that stuff that he's starting. So he will see this as an acceptable trade-off. No more Nancy Pelosi. No more Chuck Schumer. No more Gavin Newsom. Well, we're better off without them. They were a huge drain on our economy with all their fires. Let Canada put out the fires. That's what he'll do. Of course, none of that is nonsense. None of that is true. It's all nonsense. But he believes it. The people in the American South will celebrate this, as they've always hated California, even though they've never actually been there. Now, the fulcrum of this war is going to be when Trump invades Mexico, because he will not be able to back down or accept any losses. So if things go badly in the north, he'll begin to campaign in the south to distract and re-energize his base. They've always been at war with the migrant crime and caravans of Mexico. So the war on a second front will begin. Mexico will react by moving up to California. They can quibble about the lines of on the borders later, but they will meet in the middle with Canada to own California. Everything north of San Fran will be Canada. Everything south of San Fran will be Mexico. So the deserts of the western states will become a blighted, desolate wasteland pocked with craters from exploded mortar shells. And I guess I mean more of a blighted, desolate wasteland than they already are. This is when the nuke question will get brought up. Donald Trump will want to nuke everything north of America, everything west of America, and everything south of America. Odds are any general worth his shit has already abandoned him, and the ones that are left won't even know how to call in a nuclear strike, at which point Russia will do it for us. But their nukes are going to fail and falter because Ivan stole all their fuel and refined it into hooch, drank half of it. It gave him a rare form of eyeball cancer, and then he sold the rest, thus ending the stupidest war, which is what historians will call it, because it was orchestrated by the stupidest people for the stupidest reasons and accomplished nothing. Billions of people will die, of course, but Trump will feel that that's worth it if he never has to back down from a stupid, rambly, nonsense speech he made a long time ago when his teleprompter malfunctioned. Most of his accomplices after the stupidest war will flee to Greenland, where 50 years from now there will be conspiracy theories and rumors about orange-skinned people living in peace there. It'll be a good time, I suppose. But what about my love story? What about forever? Romeo, take me somewhere we can be alone, waiting there. Left to do is run. You'll be the prince, and I'll be the princess. It's a love story, baby. Just say yes. I don't think this will happen because Pierre and Trump will be friends. No, Pierre will not allow Trump to do the things he wants to do, and Donald Trump is just going to start taking land. I'm worried that that's what he's going to do. So this is fun to think about, and I had fun making up this silly little prediction. Will any of these things happen? No. Will any of the things Trump mentioned in this press conference happen? Only the ones that make the shareholders more money. Those are the ones that will happen. Any of those dumbass ideas that make the line go up, those are the ones that will take place. Because that is what this entire clown show is about. The people with the money to buy entire media empires want you to look at the clown while they rob you. Trump is going to point at Greenland, and then the shareholders are going to cut regulations to make themselves more money. Trump is going to talk shit about Mexico, and the CEOs will steal another part of the government that you paid for. Trump will say some crazy crap about the Panama Canal, and Elon will buy another election. We are headed towards some serious Russian levels of oligarchy, and half of America is cheering it on because they don't like it because they love it when liberals are mad. Right, so I am done with all my ranting tonight. I have a very special request, and I'm opening it in a browser right now. The love story, the romance story. This is not smut. This is romance that Bisky wrote a long time ago. This was probably like 6 months ago or something. That Bisky stumbled into my chat while I was drinking and playing video games. and told me how much she loved Barron Trump, and that threw me for a loop. So we started spitballing and writing romantic fan fiction about Barron Trump. I am going to read what Bisky wrote right now. I haven't read this just yet, but I got to get it in the right browser so that I can see it. There we go. All right, so I'm going to read this to you in my. What kind of voice do you want? You want like? I could do it in Alex Jones, but I don't think I should. I'll do it in my sultriest voice. Normal voice. Okay. I'll try not to ham it up. Trump walks out of the room. He won. He won the election. You are so angry about the whole thing, but your blood boils even more when you see him. Barron Trump and his stupid smirk. He looks directly at you and smiles, but not a friendly smile. A smile that says, I won, you lost. You look away in tears. How could he have won? You see Barron staring at you from the corner of your eye as you walk away. You enter the room and cry by the fireplace. You hear footsteps coming closer. Are you okay? You look up and see that stupid boy again. Just here to rub it in my face. Barron gets down on your level. No, I'm here to ask you if you are okay. You never noticed it before, but his eyes were a deep blue, and his smile was bright. He... No. There's no way you're falling in love with Barron Trump. But you already did. Before you know it, you guys are dating. One night you go over to his house. You sit down to watch the stars. Barron leans in closer. Your lips touch. Barron, what are you doing? Oh, is that his dad? Is that Trump? Sorry, I'm trying to figure out who wrote this so I know what voice to do. Barron, what are you doing? Oh my God, is that Donald? Is that Trump walking closer to me? As he pushes me off his son. Never speak to my son again, he says, pushing me to the door. But Dad... Shut up, Barron. He slams the door in your face. But that doesn't stop you. You still see Barron, secretly, of course. At midnight, you take a ladder to Barron's window. You place it on the side of the house and climb up. Here he is, by the window, smiling at you. You can't get over that smile. You lean in for a kiss, but the ladder snaps. You scream as you plummet down the ladder. You hit the floor with a crash. Barron comes down to help you. He carries you all the way to his room. You see his worried eyes as he places you into his bed. I can't be here. Your dad hates me. You get up to leave, but Barron stands in front of you. He pushes you onto the bed. You're not going anywhere. And he smirks. Wow. Okay. That was lovely. That is amazing. And it is on my... That's on my Discord forever now. It's written in second person, too. I appreciate you being so strong as to write in second person. It's very rare. Dungeons and Dragons is written in second person. Usually you do first person. I saw Barron Trump do this, and then I saw this, and then Donald said to me, and then I ran away, and then I cried. That's first person. Third person would be she saw Barron Trump, and then she got up, and then she walked away, and then Barron Trump followed her, and then she heard him from around the corner, and then she cried. That's third person, but you're doing it in second person, which is so much more complicated and difficult. How did you read that and not cringe? Oh, this is the thing that I would like to do for a living, is talking to a microphone. I really did think about doing voice over work and stuff like that, and becoming like a voice actor or something like that. But a friend of mine made a good point that why would I become a voice actor now when the AI is going to take over the whole industry within a couple of years? And I think he was right. Why would somebody pay a human being to talk into a microphone when they could just have a robot do it? I remember we were spitballing a whole bunch of it. There was another girl, Melania hated you, right? And I think you should have Melania slam the door, honestly. If I were to give you a note, it would be, don't have Donald there. He's busy. Go, leave that alone. If you do Melania, it becomes a mom worried about you being a gold digger or trying to steal from him. and Melania's talks funny, so you can create a funny accent. You could just you could just misspell all the words and be like, that was Melania's voice. Baron, what are you doing? Baron, what are you doing? I am Melania Trump. What are you doing? Get away from my son right now. Get away from my son. You could do a funny accent. I don't know what country she's from, but it's a mess. Have you ever heard her speak? Listen to her speak sometime. Disenfurfman. Well, I don't think she's that bad. She's just do you ever watch Metalocalypse? You could just tweak just a few of her words, and you could come up with a pretty good voice. I am all done. I appreciate that. Thanks for sticking around, Bisky. Sorry it took so long to get to the good parts. The good parts. Well, yeah, and I think you're right. Because the dad hates me. Yeah, you could have the mom hate you too. Maybe you work both of them in. I'm on board. This is good stuff. Feel free to go to the Discord and bounce ideas. I've seen lots of horrible TV shows, so I could give you lots of terrible ideas. Why not everyone hate me? The whole family. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And you could create like a star-studded kind of a thing. Then you accidentally bump into Eric Trump, and he doesn't pay attention to you. Like he thinks you're some sort of prole who isn't worth his time, so he doesn't pay any attention. Or Don Jr., he's a piece of shit. You could accidentally bump into him. The character could bump into him and stuff like that. And then he is just mean to you. And then you accidentally come across, ask him if he get him drink. Yeah, exactly. It's a whole thing. Baron. Oh God, that would be a good plot line. Baron's like, hey, listen, what if he asks his older brother to buy him some beer. Now there's a relatable plot line, see, this is what you and I did last time. We just kept bouncing ideas off of each other for this very bad situation. Oh my God, wait, I can talk to someone, but Baron gets just, there you go. See, are there any other, there's no other young men around. What if, well, all his brothers are married. What other dude would you talk to? There aren't any young dudes around there. Baron's the only young dude around there. Charlie Kirk. There you go. Charlie Kirk. You could talk to Elon. There you go. Elon proposes you come to work for him, and then Baron gets jealous. There you go. That is insanity, and it. You don't think Charlie Kirk would hit on you? Elon wants to give me a baby, but Baron is jealous. There you go. Elon's like, hey, would you like to be my 9th wife and give birth to my 17th, 18th, and 19th child? That would be a wild situation. And let's see. That is about it for me tonight. So I appreciate everybody who was here. And then I'm mad and then there's drama. Okay. So let's see if anybody I know is streaming that I could raid. I don't know that many streamers, but if you wanted to tell me about it or who to raid, I would, with a whopping 7 people. I don't see anybody that I know on there. So I'll probably just throw you into the void and end stream abruptly without saying anything. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I don't know any streamers. I'm embarrassed to try. It's nervous. It makes me nervous. Anywho, That's it for me tonight. I appreciate everybody who was here. Thank you for coming, Bisky. Just raid someone random. It would be funny. I could. Did I close it? Let's see. Yeah, but what if like they're not cool? Good night, Bisky. Thanks for coming. Everybody was here. Thanks for being here. I'll work on getting better at raiding and figure out a list of people that I should raid or could raid. I'll be back on Saturday unless the Gestapo kicks in my door and drags me off to the gulag, which could happen. So if that happens, I will be not streaming on Saturday. But if that doesn't happen, I will be here streaming on Saturday. Go on by. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you're feeling. And that is it for me.